James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so there was a recent back and forth on Twitter between two young fighters in the 140 division that I wanted to talk about, and I'll leave you guys the article in the description so you guys can go read it for yourselves. But we had a back and forth on Twitter between Emiliano Vargas and Ernesto Mercado because, you know, Emiliano Vargas recently, he just scored the fastest knockout in the history of Madison Square Garden in his last fight. And he was saying that he's the best 140 pounder in the world, that he's coming for all the belts and these guys can't beat him. And, you know, right now, Vargas his stock is very high. I have full belief that he's one of the fighters that Top Rank is trying to build their foundation upon for the next generation and for the next era of Top Rank boxing. Obviously, with him being young and 21 years old, an explosive puncher, he has what they say, the quote unquote the look, or so they say. And he's the son of a former, you know, a very notable fighter, Fernando Vargas. So that being said, there's been eyeballs on him for a long time, and I think there's a lot of people that want to see him succeed, but there's equally a lot of people that want to see him fail. So for better or for worse, he is a polarizing figure in boxing. And Ernesto Mercado, another fellow 140 pounder, he don't like what Vargas is saying about him being the best fighter at 140. He obviously takes exception to that. He said that, you know, did that boy really just say that he's the best 140 pound fighter in the world? Hashtag trash. And you know, Emiliano Vargas pretty much told him and responded to him and said, look, poor dude, nobody wants to see you fight. I don't even have a belt, and you know this is your money fight. This is the only way people are gonna know who you are. Keep watching me win. So there you go. Now, let's talk about it, because let's talk about, first of all, where both guys are at in their careers, and then maybe a potential fight down the line, because really and truthfully, like right now, I would say Mercado is more advanced in his career. He's actually ranked right now. Right now, on August 6, 2025, 8:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the time he's shooting this, Ernesto Mercado is ranked in one of the 4 sanctioning bodies. Emiliano Vargas is not. Mercado is number 11 in the IBF, and he's not ranked anywhere else. But Vargas isn't ranked, period. He's unranked. So there's that. Now, do I think Vargas will get ranked soon? Yes. I think within the first half of 2026, he gets ranked. So he's not far off. He's only maybe 1 or 2 fights away from being a top 15 ranked fighter. That being said, you know, is there a pathway to this fight? Could this emerge and wind up being the future super fight? Now, look, one thing about it is, even though Mercado is ahead of Vargas in terms of where he's at in his career, I don't think he's ahead of Vargas in terms of commercial value. I think, like, Top Rank's been doing a great job of pushing Emiliano Vargas. Ernesto Mercado was unsigned for like his first, what is it? Like, what is he? Mercado's what, 17-0? So like his first 16 fights, he was not signed. So there was no Ernesto Mercado on DAZN or, you know, Amazon Prime or anything like that. You know, in order for you to even know who Ernesto Mercado is or was before that, you have to really be in the know in boxing, right? Which thankfully we are here on True School Sports. But you know, he's just now starting to get into the public consciousness because of now being on a bigger network, on a bigger platform with DAZN. He signed with Eddie Hearn now. The question will be is like, will Eddie Hearn really promote him to the point where he could be matched up with the Vargas? Because let's be honest, right? Right now, if we look at the 140 pounders that Eddie Hearn promotes, I would say from a promotional standpoint, the guys that are a bigger priority to Eddie Hearn at this moment in time are Richardson Hitchens, of course, who's the IBF champion. Definitely Dalton Smith, who's supposed to fight Subriel Matias. And maybe, possibly, I would say Tito Mercado's probably third in the pecking order amongst the Matchroom 140 pounders that Eddie Hearn promotes. So with that being said, that means that he's got some work to do. He has to become, in my estimation, the main guy that Eddie Hearn promotes at 140. And only time and more sensational performances will do that for Mercado, because You know, he. One thing I like about Tito Mercado, and I've had the pleasure of having him on the channel before, is he's not here to be friends with none of these guys. He's on the type of timing. He's on a type of timing that I want to see from a fighter. He's on that like fuck Shakur, fuck Keyshawn, fuck Vargas. You in my weight class? Listen, if you in my weight class, it's gotta be fuck you. So I like how he's coming. I like the energy that he's bringing to the division, and I like how he's approaching everything. I think I think Vargas and him will be a really fun fight for the division one day. You know, I'm looking at two fighters that are explosive. Although I will say, I question Emmy's explosiveness only because it hasn't been tested against anybody with the pulse just yet. But he looks to like he is somewhat of an explosive fighter. You know, given the current opposition he's fought. Mercado's fought guys that, yes, are past it. Guys like Pedraza, guys like Nakatilia, Hank Lundy. But these are also veteran fighters that have been around the ring. They've been around the block. So, for him to knock these kind of guys out, it does show that he has a certain level of competence and power and these kind of things. I think it'd be a great fight. Mercado's 5'10". He's like 5'9", so they're pretty close in stature. I know their dimensions are quite similar. I would definitely say the guy who's got the better fundamentals right now, like if they were to fight right now, I'd definitely favor Mercado. I think Mercado, even 2 years from now, if Emmy don't clean up his defense, because Emmy is explosive and Emmy can punch, but if he don't clean up his defense, 2-3 years from now, I would still favor Mercado, because Mercado has a way of setting up his punches. And he's actually been in there with some veterans that when he hits them, they don't just fall right away. They give him some rounds. Emmy hasn't gotten past that yet. So we'll see what Emmy shows when he fights someone that really gives him some real resistance. But from what I've seen from Emmy, with the limited guys he's fought, I think his big problem is going to be that, yes, his explosiveness and his creativity and his athletic ability as a fighter is very high. But is he responsible enough defensively to not get clipped? And I think that's the question I'm going to have answered hopefully in the next 3 to 4 fights. Really good fight for the future. I hope that Vargas continues to grow and gain experience. I hope that Mercado continues to grow and gain experience. And this could be a future, honestly, the way I see it, this could be a future unification fight at 140. Because I don't think Mercado's going to get these fights against, Richard Hitchens and these kind of guys. I think these guys are all going to outgrow the weight. I don't think Shakur Stevenson is going to fight him. I think this fight, maybe like, and I've spoken about it in the past, maybe him versus Adam Azim, Mercado versus Adam Azim, Vargas versus Adam Azim, Vargas versus Mercado. Like that's the next wave of the 140 division that I'm seeing for the future. But those are just my thoughts. I think it's a great fight for the future. Two very explosive fighters. It's Mexico versus Nicaragua. So, those are two proud boxing countries. And I think it could definitely be something to watch out for. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you guys think about the potential for, down the line, Ernesto Mercado versus Emiliano Vargas? Emiliano Vargas versus Ernesto Tito Mercado. What do you guys think of that fight? And what did you think of the back and forth? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.